that's both pieces separated from each other. Don't know why I don't treat them inside, to be honest, but managed to go through in a couple of places, but it doesn't matter because I won't be using that section of it. There's a couple of reference points that I'm going to be using to get it back on the car, and that's going to be this hole here and the rear fender holes as well. So I'm going to see where I need to cut it off and get the grinder out. So I've just treated the inside of this bumper bracket with the Pour 15 metal edge, so I've just washed it down. I'm going to let it dry off a little bit more and then give it a coating of weld through primer just to give it that extra coat of protection. There we go, got this panel mocked up now. So as mentioned, I've lined it up with this hole here, and I know that I've got a passage for the wing mounting bolts to go through, so that's pretty much lined up. It's not going fully back to the existing panel because there's actually a bar that sits behind this lip that these wing nuts are mounted onto, so it's obviously protruding a little bit from there. So I'm just going to mark up the rear of it, and I should have a small section to let in. So there's my mark. Hope it's right. Of course it's not the best fit as yet, but I'm not going to blame my measuring skills. I'm going to blame the way the panel's pressed. But the next stage is to work out where to cut this section off here so that the actual valance fits in there still. Right, looks like I've got a little bit of a problem going on here, so I'm going to have to make up some brackets to hold the rear valance back in place where it was originally, or where I cut it off, especially on the other side. I'm just going to make a couple of little brackets up just to attach it there. Now the problem being is it looks as if though this curve is a lot different to the rear valance's curve, so at the moment this looks totally incorrect. May even have to literally reprofile it. There we go, just a couple of little brackets made out of a little bit of scrap steel, and I'll use some self-tappers to hold the valance in place while I make some measurements. Okay, so I just put the camera down for a little while just so I can get on with this repair, and it's nearly there now. So what I'll do, I'll take it off and I'll show you what I've done. Basically what I've had to do, and I haven't got a shrinker or a stretcher, I'm not privileged to have any of them sort of tools as yet, so I've basically had to cut and re-weld a new lip on here, and I've had to re-profile this end section here just so it gives that rear valance a little bit more support, and the shapes there also. So I've just put a little skim on there just to hide any blemishes, and I'll rub that down. You can probably see the difference from this, what I've made, to the other panel, and this one actually works for me better. Also forgot to mention that I had to relocate one of the wing mounting bolts, actually moving it over probably about 15mm. That's the next stage of the repair done, so I've just made this shape for the side of the valance, two holes for the wing mounts, and I'll go ahead and tack that on, and then once I remove it later on, that's when I weld it up fully. Right, so I've got that new section of the valance tacked in on the side there, and I've just tacked in that rear repair, and then it's time to move on to the other side, get that sorted. If there's ever a reason to replace both sides of your valance, that'd be one of them. The reason behind me now wanting to change both bumper brackets out is because whatever panel was welded in here, it looks to be of a later year. This bumper bracket on the near side is totally different, it's a lot wider. Look at how they've put that drip tray in with the amount of gap between both panels. I don't think that's going to take much to get that out. And there you can see the previous repairs in all its glory. I think this car's had about 14 previous owners, so God knows when it was done. Right, I think I'm going to leave it there for today's video now. I've got to a point where I'm happy to stop for the day. So I'm going to surmise though and say that I'm only having to make these alterations to these panels purely because this is a 1967, a 1 year only model, and I'm sure if it was any other year I probably wouldn't have half as much trouble in fitting these new rear panels. The deck lid itself, along with the valance, obviously follows suit, is of a slightly different shape. So any thoughts on that, just please comment below. I'll see you on the next one.